Everyone, I'm Euphonia, and welcome to my reaction to the U37 PTS patch notes. All of my opinions on the patch notes will be here, and I'm going to be, mostly skipping over, uh, like, small bug fix stuff. I'm going to be, skipping to, like, new sets, set rebalances, skill rebalances, stuff of that nature. So, to start, there's, new item sets that come from the dungeons here. There's the first dungeon light set is Recov, Healing Done, Max Mag. And then when you heal someone with a direct heal, you create a tether uh for 10 seconds, 15-second cooldown, so 2/3 uptime. And anyone who touches the ally the tether get healed. If I from the reveal, it looks like it's actually a pretty big number. I haven't gone on PTS yet. And also the minor heroism is going to be very cracked. Then there's Nyx Hound's Howl. Uh 3 lines of weapon and spell damage, which is quite good. It's gonna be sort of like Witch Knight if you need uh like 4 pieces to optimize and just add a bit more weapon and spell damage. I think another set like this is very good. I don't like this 5-piece though, which is complaining a fully charged heavy attack applies major cowardice to the target for 1 second per 1,000 weapon damage you have, and then major courage for the same duration. Major courage is uh too easy to get in a group setting for this to be useful, and in a solo setting for PvE, this is completely useless because you're gonna want damage, not something like this. Um, Also, there's stuff like Vicosa, which gives major cowardice, which is going to be way more consistent than this. Uh, and yeah, I just don't think this is a generally good set at all. Then the heavy set is Stam Health Mag, pretty decent split stats, especially for a heavy set. At least it's not like uh health recovery or anything. And then while bracing increased mag recovery, while not bracing increased stam recovery. This is a very interesting set for PvP. I do want to try this. Uh, could be pretty good on like a Stamden or a Mag DK. Then the Monster Mask is the first line is try recovery, and then the 2-piece, it's sort of like Death Dealer's Fet, but for recoveries. I believe it goes up to hold on. It's 240 recoveries it adds. So when you add this to that, it's 310 of each recovery, which is pretty good. Um that's better than people before would run like 1-piece Magma Incarnate, 1-piece Baron Thirsk and get like 260 of mag and stam recovery. So this is 310 of each. And then so the next dungeon, the light set is weapon spell damage, pen, and then your damage over time effects deal additional flame damage on the 3rd tick. This damage scales off of your weapon and spell damage and always applies the burning status effect. This set is going to be stupidly strong for PvP. I feel like it's been pretty overlooked so far, because you can just apply dots, get this proc pounding on people because it scales with weapon and spell damage, and it doesn't need to scale high because it has no cooldown, and you just spam dots on people and it will keep ticking. And status effects like burning and poisoned, they are dots. They will proc this as well. uh Double dot poisons apply 2 dots to the enemy, 2 different dots, which means you will get 2 of these procs instantly, plus whatever other dots you have on the person. I think this set is going to be stupidly strong for PvP, especially on something like a Mag DK. Then there's the medium set, which is crit rate, stam recovery, weapon spell damage. You and your group members within 28 meters gain major fortitude, major intellect, major endurance. This is not good. Those buffs are so easy to get. Uh, PvP, just use tri-stat pots. PvE, you only need either intellect or endurance, and you get one of those from if you're using either spell power pots or weapon damage pots, or if you're like tryharding PvE and you have heroism pots, those give intellect and endurance. So either way, this set is just absolutely useless. Abyssal Brace, two lines of stam, fourth line of health, and then the five line adds a good chunk of health, and then while you're bracing, everyone near you gets minor evasion, which is a pretty hard buff to get, and it's also very strong. I can see this being a good uh like group support set for PvP. Uh Gossamer would be better than this. It's much better, but if someone already has Gossamer, I can see this being used. I don't think it's going to be great. And then the monster mask is Azurin the Inferno. It adds a line of mag recovery. Overhealing yourself or an ally grants them 4K 4.3k armor basically for 1 second. And uh it also grants them minor vitality, which is I think this is very strong. It's like it's sort of like Bloodspawn, but instead of giving alt it gives healing received, which is crazy. I think this monster mask is going to be really great in PvP. Like really, really great. Um, New rewards of the worthy sets. There's this one. This is stupid. This is so fucking stupid. Why did they think this was a good idea? Um, Mag recovery, max mag, weapon spell damage. Applying a major or minor debuff to an enemy applies star venom to them for 6 seconds. This effect can occur once every 12 seconds. Whenever an enemy with star venom is healed, they take 3k oblivion damage up to once per second. An enemy can only be affected by one instance of star venom at a time. So, you debuff someone. They pop their vigor. Their vigor does nothing. They take 3k oblivion damage per second. This is so ridiculous. Oblivion damage goes through all resistances. It goes through mitigation, including Battle Spirit, which is the whole reason why Occult Overload was so broken. It goes through block, it goes through damage shields. You can't like mist form it or anything. You just die. Then there's Shell Splitter. I think this can be useful. It's 3 lines of 1.5k pen plus I this is like 12k pen when someone blocks it, and it's a 5 second duration, which means if you're outnumbered, chances are and you have AoE abilities, chances are someone will block something eventually, like within 5 seconds. So outnumbered, you can probably keep this up pretty well. um this is like 17k pen, which is a lot, way more than anyone really ever needs. I can see this being used. I don't think it's outnumbered. It'll be better than Stoons. There's that. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to be like too OP. And then the heavy set, Judgment of Akataj, weapon spell damage, health, armor. When you deal direct damage with any like gap close ability, you distort time on your enemy after 3 seconds. The enemy bursts with temporal energy, reducing movement speed of all enemies within 12 meters by 70% and stunning them for 3 seconds. This effect can be blocked. Sorry, excuse me. This effect can be blocked and can occur once every 15 seconds. Um, Good crowd control set if you're like a Sork support, like a negate spam e-build, you can like streak through a group of enemies and snare them all pretty significantly. I think it could have use there. Remember to drink water. All right, so those are the new sets. Combat. I don't really read this stuff. General. Fix an issue where the stun from successful sneak attacks could trigger off other triggered events such as item sets. Proc sets aren't gonna stun you from stealth. Fix an issue where you could bash and light attacks simultaneously while using a gamepad. Um, I didn't know about that. Uh, Fix an issue where ground targeted spells were canceled with a light attack during their targeting phase time using a gamepad. That just like game working well. Fix an issue where you could block and not cancel sprint. Updated the tooltips for passives to properly say they scale. Okay. Increase the scaling of all weapon light attacks by 50% and werewolf light attacks by 20%, and introduced a stat scaling limit to these attacks so they stop benefiting from weapon damage or spell damage and max mag and max stam after reaching uh that. Um, is this a nerf? This means you hit the same damage after around 6k weapon and spell damage, which means in PvE this is definitely a nerf. And in PvP, I think most of the time it'll be a nerf. Yeah, this is a nerf to weaving. Um, Missing invisible targets for they should have. Yeah. Bar swapping while you're not actively holding block will no longer temporarily disable block. Um, Yay, block bug. They finally fixed it after like 5 months. Not five, like 3. Abilities and item sets that pull a single target will now also attempt to taunt the target. Okay, this is good because they removed soft taunts a while ago, so now they're bringing soft taunts back. This is a good thing. Um, Enemies will now only become taunt immune after they taunted 5 times between 2 unique targets, up from 3 times. Uh, okay, that's good for when you have a random person who queued as DPS with puncture as their spam. Um, Facing an issue where a single caster of taunt could apply 2 stacks of taunt to an enemy rather than only one. I don't know what this means. Um, Okay, here are the abilities. Fiery Grip. Empowered Chains Change of Devastation. This morph now grants Major Berserk for 10 seconds after casting, rather than Empower, as Molten Armaments already grants it in a much more effective way. As such, this morph was renamed to better denote its effects. What the fuck? Sea Serpent Coil might not be great on DK anymore, because you can just get Major Berserk 100% uptime by this. Alright then, that's stupid. Molten Whip. Fix and ensure this morph could fail to activate many conditional requirements that stated when casting ability that costs mag or stam. Note that conditional requirements that only affect that require only a stamina ability specifically will still not fire, as this ability is predominantly magic oriented. So you can't proc it with like Venom Claw? Is that what this is saying? Okay, that's weird. Um, in general, this is a massive buff to DK. Uh, I feel like damage does need to be higher, but doing this means they need to get rid of Mara's, so Mara's DKs go away. Necro. Skeleton Archer. Fix an issue where the damage boost from this morph would fail to apply if the damage was blocked. Bug fixes. Boneyard. Reduce the damage of this synergy by approximately 47% to ensure it is of similar power to other synergies of its ilk. It's not supposed to be similar power. Holy shit. Okay, Necro's dead. Necro's dead. Grave Robber's the only thing Necro had going for them. Um, okay. Death Gleaning. This passive now restores more mag and stam when an enemy dies. As if Necro needed better sustain. You killed its damage. Necro doesn't need better sustain. Necro already has Undead Confederate and Mortal Coil. Alright. Um, Sorcerer, Conjured Ward. Increase the damage shield size of this ability and the regenerative ward morph by 10%. Did when did they change? Is it regenerative ward or empowered ward? Did they change the name? Oh, it's here where they changed it. Okay. Increased health caps. This is not going to make a big difference. This is good. This is good. Sork getting slightly better. I don't think this is going to make a massive difference. The ability in Smurf to now dynamically scale between the higher of your max health or mag rather than only mag. Hardened Ward increase the damage shield size of this morph by approximately 7% and increase the max health cap to 72% up from 60. I like this. I don't like that now you can build like an 80k max HP Sork and get massive wards and never die. That could be problematic. We'll have to see how it goes. I will be testing a lot of the stuff on PTS as the #1 PTS main in the game. Also, like the only PTS main. Um, Summon Unstable Familiar, fix an issue with this Morphinus abilities. If another sorcerer's version of these abilities attack to target, your own would rally to their cause and immediately become active in combat as well. Um, yeah, that's good for like not getting stuck in combat. Mage's Fury increase the size of the area of effect portion of this ability and it's more spot to 5 meters up from 4. Not a big deal. Fix an issue where the execute damage from these abilities were not properly labeled as an execute. Does that mean it like didn't proc sets like Sheer Venom? I don't know. Mage's Wrath. This morph now deals its execute damage to all targets nearby rather than dealing an initial hit and a smaller amount of damage to nearby targets. This will result in an approximate 129% increase of the area of effect while also causing the target to appear under the ability to appear under the same ID for combat logs. Um, so if you have Vicious Death, can you just wipe a whole squad with this? Or Plague Break or either of those? Um, this will be very interesting. Stork bombing might actually become a thing. I'll keep my eyes on it as I test. Fix an issue where this ultimate and its morphs would not remove themselves when heavy attacking with just enough ultimate for 1 tick. Uh, this happened to me once actually. I was playing Sork, I was in a duel, and I got stuck without any ultimate, but Overload was still active on me, and I couldn't light or heavy attack, and it took me like 10 seconds to figure out that Overload was still active and my hands were still glowing. But in that time, uh, it was a little hard to pressure anyone because I'm using Crystal Weapon. So, good bug fix. That's only ever happened to me once, though. Empowering Sweep, Everlasting Sweep, increase the damage of the pulsing damage over time to 10 seconds at base up from 6 seconds. No longer grants Empower, because Empower sucks now. Because heavy attacking is not really great. This morph no longer grants Empower. Solar Flare's morphs already grant this buff. As such, the name has been adjusted to prevent confusion. Okay, so they just upped the dot, got rid of the Empower. As long as it still has the same tick per second, this is a buff. Dawn's Wrath, Backlash, fix an issue where this ability and Purifying Light morph were considered magical melee damage rather than magical range damage. Uh, okay, no rebuffing this, which is good. I fucking hate Plars. Living Dark, fix an issue where the ability's visuals would cause you to appear invisible. Um, yeah, bug fixes. Cutting Dive. This morph no longer requires the enemy not to be off balance for the damage over time to apply and will now apply anytime it deals damage. Okay, this is much better. Cause I miss bleed dims. Um, I also miss back when bleed went through armor, but I guess you can get that feeling back with this. You just use this and slows, and there's nothing they can do. Yay. Um, Crystallized Shield, don't nerf this. I love this ability too much. Um, Now grant 2 ultimate when the shield takes damage rather than restoring magic. Increase the cost of this ability. No, not the cost. Reduce the shield strength of this ability and Shimmering Shield morph by approximately 33%. Okay, that is needed. Because I got like a 70k shield on this. It was ridiculous. This morph no longer grants mag or the new ultimate restore when the shield takes damage in exchange for the damage and stun. Morph does retain the original size of the damage shield. Reduce the damage. Why would you nerf this? No! This is literally this is the main reason Magden's fun. No. This is a straight nerf to the ability. Crystallized Slab, you will be missed. Okay, I had so much fun with this ability because, uh, like, lethal arrow spammers on top of, like, a castle wall or whatever, they think they're completely safe, and they're too brain dead to react to what's happening. So they start spamming lethal arrow. I pop crystallized slab and start spamming frost reach on them, and they use a few lethal arrows. These projectiles reflect, stun them, and they just die. It's so funny. It's honestly the most satisfying feeling in the game. I I'm I'm actually angry about this. I don't care about the dev comment. This is stupid. Don't nerf it. Bug fix. More secondary effects are now tracked separately. Um, so you can, if major breach is purged, it will still apply stuff. Okay, that's good. Um, this is also good because it did need a nerf. It applied way too many status effects. All versions of the ability and its morphs will now display a hostile telegraph to enemies. This is good because you could not tell whose wall it was. Wall of Elements and its morphs will now apply minor. Wall of Frost and its morphs will now apply minor breach and reduce the movement speed of enemies. Okay, instead of immobilizing, it snares them. Okay, this is good. No longer do you have to run Snow Treaders to play a BG. This is good. I like this. Also, Magden gets fucking nothing from this because Deep Fissure already applies Minor Breach. So this was a straight up nerf to Magden, who used Wall. I was not personally a Wall user. I was a Crystallized Slab enjoyer. Yeah, good. Bug fix, crit charge stampede. Fix an issue where the initial hit of this morph would only guarantee its critical strike against the first target rather than all targets hit. Okay. Wrecking blow. This morph now grants major berserk for 5 seconds. Now it's really time to wreck it. Um, Wrecking blow spam's coming back. Is wrecking blow spam actually coming back? I'm actually excited. Also, it might actually be better to run this morph in general on classes like Stamina because you can use Arctic Blast if you want to give up being unkillable by using Polar Wind. You can use Arctic Blast for your stun and just get Major Berserk from Wrecking Blow spam. Honestly, poggers. They're giving out way too many sources of Major Berserk, though. Major Berserk's too strong to be putting it on 2 abilities in the same patch. Mist Form. Uh, This ability and Smurfs are no longer a toggled ability that reduce your damage taken from players or grant crowd control immunity while active. Instead, they now teleport you to the position of your cursor up to a maximum of 15 meters away, and reduce your damage taken from the next 3 projectiles by 100% while teleporting. Casting any of these abilities will increase the cost of the ability by 33% for 4 seconds. The base cost is now 4k per cast and will reduce to 3,800. Elusive Mist, this morph now grants Major Expedition and Major Evasion for 4 seconds after reappearing rather than just Major Expedition. Okay, honestly, first, this gets rid of people that sit in Mist form and take no damage. Second, every class now has Ball of Lightning. Third, every class now has Easy Major Evasion. It it changes this ability to something that can also be abused, but I like it better because my Mag DK I use Mist because I have no like mobility on my Mag DK and I need Mist to be able to kite, but a Gap Closer I prefer because now I get Major Expedition and Major Evasion on my build. This is actually giant. I love this. Actually, good change. I like this change a lot. Blood Mist, it's healing still, yeah. I actually like this. There's gonna be vampire RPers or 40k HP Magplars that sit in Elusive Mist that are going to whine and complain. I'm also an Elusive Mist abuser, and I like this change. I think this is honestly better than it was before. I am actually excited to use this. Werewolf, Feeding Frenzy, Synergy now grants Minor Force and Empower rather than Empower. Yeah, this is a useful buff. Howl of Despair. This morph now allows the caster to self-synergize Feeding Frenzy. Okay, so Werewolf can get Minor Force. Uh, I don't like Werewolf much. I don't enjoy fighting werewolves, and I don't enjoy playing werewolves. And I really especially don't like fighting mechanical acuity werewolves, and this gives them the ability to get minor force. However, I still think this is good. Feeding a solo werewolf, this morph was completely useless because all it did was add feeding frenzy. And oh wait, no. No, these are separate morphs, are they? Howl of Despair. Oh, okay, no, it's same morph. They worded this really wrong because Feeding Frenzy is not a morph. It's part of Howl of Despair. Okay, I like that. Trip Beast. This ability and morphs will now only trigger ability timers after they've hit a target rather than after placing and after hitting a target. Uh, yeah, good works better with like timer counters and stuff. Concentrated barriers, issue fixed. Um, okay. Abilities. Strange giving Major Berserk to DK. Necro died and for some reason got more sustain. Sork Ward got slightly buffed. I don't think it's going to make a big difference. Mage's Fury can bomb now. Uh, Nothing changed with Plar. Uh, Magden got a Crystallized Slab nerf. Cutting Dive is usable again. Wall of Elements. Magdens can no longer abuse it. Wrecking Blow spam is back, and Mist Form is now fun to use. Alright. Item sets. Many distance-based items such as the Designer Scorch Harvester will now properly interact with dragons. Okay. This applies to other sets. Glyph of Physical Harm or Glyph of Spell Harm. These enchantments now grab weapon and spell damage rather than Physical Harm glyphs now add 10 stam recovery at all quantities, while spell harm glyphs add 10 mag recovery. Okay, so DK, instead of physical harm glyphs being better now, it's now better to use spell harm glyphs because you get mag recovery. Okay. I like this. They're finally hybridizing the glyphs because so many people on DK were unoptimized using spell harm glyphs because they're like, oh, I'm a magic dragon. I got to use spell harm now. And physical harm was just better because it got buffed by minor brutality. Bloodthirsty straight buff. The minimum is 210. Holy shit. Holy shit. This is cracked now. It's just more consistent. This is going to be great. Okay. Um, Harmony. This trait now grants 880 health magnet stam when you activate a synergy per trait, rather than increasing the healing damage and shield potential. What? They really don't like synergy bombing. Harmony's gone, and Grave Robber died. Okay, Necro Bombers are gone. New bomber class is Sork. New bomber class is Sork. Crimson Oath Thrive. Bug Fix, Iron Blood. Yeah, cool, you're unusable. Um, okay. Archdruid sucked. I don't understand why people ran it. You could not move after they heavy attacked and it would still miss you. Archdruid sucks. If they're improving the AoE so that it hits more consistently, this is good. Lady Maligdala, I don't know if anyone used this. Maligda, not Maligdala. Too I'm trying to pronounce it like amygdala from Bloodborne. Fawn's Lark Cladding. Fix an issue where some of the set's effects could become stuck on your character. This was funny. This was a funny bug. It was a funny exploit that you could abuse to get free stuns and not put a stun on your skill bar. Sag. Pearls of Elnafe. Set now grants 3 ultimate when you attempt to cast an ability that consumes resources while under 50% rather than 5 ultimate while under. This is done to make the set more widely available to use while peeling back some of the raw power of the set. This didn't need a raw power nerf. Pearls of Elnafe was balanced. It was only used in, like, trial world record groups. Night Terror. Fix an issue where the tooltip bonus of the set was listed as 27% sneak radius reduction rather than an actual 10%. What the fuck? How do you mess that up? Seventh Legion Brute. Fix an issue where the set was not activating off the minor resolve granted from Resolving Vigor. That's good. Sijian. Fix an issue where the set could activate out of combat in some cases. Good riddance to Nightblades. Vesture of Darlek Bray. Fix an issue where the set's 4-piece scaled with Night Terror's quality instead of its own quality. That's a weird bug. Um, no Mars Bomb nerf, no Rallying Cry nerf. Hopefully those come week 3. Uh, New sets are broken. Necro's dead. I'm an Arcanist main. I'll be testing on PTS. Yeah, yeah, I think that's it. This is not. It's okay. It's better than the Fire Song PTS. It is better than the Fire Song PTS. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video and have fun on the PTS.